Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our recorded webinar about, not surprisingly, Log4j. My name is Gal Gonen. I'm the Director of Marketing at Vulcan Cyber. With me today, Ilan Spector. Hi, Ilan. Ilan is the Product Manager at Vulcan Cyber, and we're here to talk about the new CVE 2021-44228 Log4Shell, which is making a lot of noise, right, Ilan? I mean, it's something that probably every security professional have heard of in the last few days. And it's making some noise because there is something to it. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna cover briefly what is Log4j, but the interesting part would be to understand how to actually fix it, and specifically fix it with a Vulcan Cyber platform. Great. So let's start by understanding what Log4j is. So Log4j is a logging library. It's the most common one of Java-based environments, and needless to say, developers log data all the time. It's something that they do, it's part of their job. For many purposes, it's a common behavior that should be done. The bottom line is that the vulnerable Log4j does what a software should not do at all, which is trust untrusted data. In other words, if I'm simplifying it, data that is originated from an external source without validation and then used for further actions. In our CVE's case, the Log4Shell CVE, the untrusted data is the logs that Log4j saves, and the further action is searching for the Java file, downloading it from the internet, and then loading it, meaning running the code. Okay, so that was like a brief understanding of this library and this CVE. Now that we understand it, it's time to attack it back and actually see how we can act upon it. So what can we do? What are the options? We have multiple ones, but first you must locate all the vulnerable assets in your organizations, and it could be third-party Java softwares that you see in your organization, or any in-house applications that you run, either exposed to the internet or not. You need to review your asset inventory systems and scanners to gather all this relevant data in order to holistically understand what could be vulnerable. This is a very important part of the process. After having all the data, what's next? It depends for any organization on the circumstances. We fully encourage at Vulcan Cyber to follow the advisory's approach to update the products and the softwares. The vendors recently published, after discovering this vulnerability, fixes and fixed versions of their products. And this is the most recommended way to handle the situation. We know it's hard. We know it takes a lot of time and effort, but listen to us, it's a crucial one. Patching to the latest versions is the best practice for absolute remediation. I'll go ahead by saying that everything I say and patching to the latest Log4j version also applies to the new CVE. You probably heard of it. It's something that I think started, was discovered kind of a day ago, which is CVE 2021-44228. Great. We have published two very interesting blog posts with remediation actions. I encourage you to go ahead and read them. They're visible in our blog at Vulcan.io. Now we're going to hear from Ilan more about how to fix CVE 44228 using the Vulcan Cyber platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Gal, and hello, everyone. And I'm not going to go again into what this vulnerability is, because a lot has been said about it, and Gal also gave a good overview now. I just want to kind of give a more practical approach on what we can now do based on what Gal said, the flow that Gal described. And this is within the Vulcan platform. So if you're one of our customers, you probably know these screens well. And if you're not, we'll probably show another alternative at the end of these slides. But like Gal said, first things first, let's see where the problem is. Let's see what assets are affected, where this vulnerability has us in our organization. So within Vulcan, we can filter based on CVEs. So all we have to do is put in this CVE and see what has been affected. In this case, by the way, this is a real customer's environment, so some of the details have been blurred out. But the general idea is to see where the problem is. And of course, you can see that this thread is exploitable and can be exploited remotely. These are all things that are super crucial to understand in this vulnerability. Yeah, Gal, thank you. So once we know where we're at with this, with Log4j, where it's sitting in our organization, we can deep dive kind of and explore the details of the vulnerability. We can see again that it's exploitable. We can see the risk that Vulcan has given it. In this case, it's not a critical, although for most organizations it would be critical, but in this specific case, it sits on assets that are not that interesting for the organization. So that's kind of why that risk level is slightly lower. And you can see that it's on 31 assets. You can see on the tab at the top there. So 31 assets are affected in this case. And once we dive a bit more deeply, we can see the score that we got from the connector. In this case, I think it's Prisma Cloud, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I can see there the little logo. And you can see a lot more details. You can see the description, and you have a link to the CVE, to Mitre, and all that. What else can we see here? This is probably the most important screen, is the fixes, right? So now that we understand what the vulnerability is, where it's lying in our, on our attack surface, we can see what Vulcan suggests us to do. Some of these fixes are given by the connector, the Prisma Cloud in this case, and some are our research team has come up with other fixes from various sources. And you can see that Apache has their own, the official advisory that Apache has given out. We have that, and we have another one, and there's another one that you cannot see because you had to scroll down to see that. So once we know what we need to apply, now comes the actionable part, which is actually opening the Jira tickets. In this case, it's a Jira ticket, right? It can be ServiceNow, it can be Slack, emails. But this is where you as a vulnerability manager say, okay, team X, take this, the patch or the script or whatever it is. In this case, I think it's a workaround. Basically just update the version, and you just automatically open a Jira ticket from the platform itself. And from here on out, it's really kind of smooth sailing, I guess, or as smooth as it can get. So that's kind of how you would handle this situation within Vulcan, and this can all be automated. And the time that it took me to discuss it is way longer than the time it would actually take you to do this whole process in Vulcan. I think that's about it on my side. Gal, is there?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Listen, if you're not Vulcan Cyber customers, I mean, you need to act fast anyway. Vendor agnostic, you just need to act fast. You need to remediate this vulnerability, patch, update, whatever you need to do. So there are more alternatives to our platform with the paid version. You can use Vulcan free if you'd like to try. And if not, and you just want to explore the CVE and what are the possible fixes out there, I'm going to show you Remedy Cloud. Remedy Cloud is a free community tool we're offering at our website, Vulcan.io. I'm going to show it to you. Let me just stop share and enter Remedy Cloud. So the way to enter the Remedy Cloud is very simple. Vulcan.io, there's a tab called Remedy Cloud. Remedy Cloud is a remediation intelligence library, which correlates between vulnerabilities and remediations, fixes, anything from workarounds, configurations, scripts, etc. So what we're going to do now, here's a search bar, very intuitive. We can write CVE-2021-44228. Wait a sec until the system understands what kind of CVE we're looking for. Once we understand the CVE and we have kind of a view to that CVE, here you can see everything related to the CVSS score, obviously critical severity grade score 10. There's here a link, a very simple link to NVD. And here are all the possible fixes that we have found and that can help you. You can show more, see some details, explore this. I encourage you all to get to this free tool, write any CVE related to Log4j or unrelated, any CVE coming from now in the future. You can help us by, suggesting fixes and, enhancing and enlarging the community. We hope this session was insightful. We're here. Please contact us, me, Ilan, or anyone at the Vulcan Cyber company. We're here to help you. We understand this is a big issue, and that's our mission. Let's own risk together. Thank you very much.